The latest headlines in the Ivy League, covered through exclusive interviews right now. From campus to campus, go around the Ancient Eight with Brian Seltzer, Thursdays on the Ivy League Digital Network. Football.
Dan Loney is the play-by-play voice for Princeton football on GoPrincetonTigers.tv, but of course you know him from inside Ivy League football and basketball as well on the Ivy League Digital Network. Dan, game number 1 for the Princeton Tigers at San Diego. What's the theme for the Princeton Tigers following the first Ivy League championship since 2006?
Well, I think they still feel like there's unfinished business because even though they were champions of the league last year, they shared that title with Harvard. They had an opportunity to wrap it up all by themselves against Dartmouth at the end of last year and didn't get it done. So the benefit for Princeton is that they have a lot of players back, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. They did lose some key players. Roman Wilson, All-Ivy wide receiver, Ron Reed, All-American defensive tackle amongst the players they lost. But their quarterbacks are back, their running backs are back, most of the receivers back, and they're going to have one of the best defensive secondaries in the Ivy League this year.
Quinn Epperly, the Bushnell Cup Ivy League Offensive Player of the Year award winner last year. How can he be better this season?
Boy, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. But you know what? The thing is that Quinn had a phenomenal year last year, made great strides in terms of his development. I can't even sit here and say, I expect him to do better. I would like him to do just as well as he did a year ago. Obviously, people now have a lot more tape on him, and they know what he does a little bit more. But remember that Princeton offensively at times will run 2 or 3 quarterbacks out there on the offensive set. So it just gives them a variety of different options out there.
Dan Loney calls all the Princeton football games on GoPrincetonTigers.tv, and he's a member of the Ivy League Digital Network. Dan, enjoy the trip to San Diego.
Thanks, Brian.
From Southern California in San Diego to Hanover, New Hampshire, the Dartmouth Big Green hosting Central Connecticut State to start the 2014 season. Veteran broadcaster Dick Lutz of the Big Green Sports Network, Big Green Insider, and DartmouthSports.com. Dick, expectations elevated for Dartmouth this season. What's the discussion about them receiving the number 3 pick in the preseason media poll?
Well, it's starting to feel good that people are starting to show a little respect for the Dartmouth football program after some lean years. We've been progressing very nicely over the last couple of years, finishing 3rd place last year. And expectations are high in Hanover, and we can't wait to get started.
Quarterback Dallin Williams, honorable mention All-Ivy last year. What's impressed you the most about the way he's gone about his business?
Well, he's matured an awful lot as a player. There's no question about that. And as Dallin Williams goes this year, so goes the Big Green, because so much is riding on his ability to lead the team. He has so many different weapons that he can use. He can run, he can pass, he's got some great wide receivers to throw to. And the biggest question that we have with the Dartmouth offense going into the season is at running back, where Kyle Bramble will replace Dominic Pierre. Pierre was one of the top running backs in the Ivy League. He's graduated. Bramble is coming back from a knee injury. He hurt his knee late last season. He had surgery in the offseason, and the question is just how ready is he to go for opening day Saturday against Central Connecticut. And if he's ready to go, then the Dartmouth offense will be really, really something that should be quite explosive and put a lot of points on the board this year. We're excited about the prospect for Dartmouth's offense this year. And again, as Dallin Williams goes, so go the Big Green.
Dartmouth under the lights, 7 o'clock, Central Connecticut State. This Saturday, Dick Lutz will have the call on the Big Green Insider Sports Network and Ivy League Digital Network. Dick, thanks so much.
All right, Brian, thank you.
Soccer.
A really anticipated men's soccer matchup this past Tuesday night. Cornell visiting Syracuse, two of the top defensive units in the whole country. Cornell getting shut out by the score of 3-0. Jesse Sherman calls games on the Big Red Sports Network. Jesse, how would you evaluate Cornell at 2-2-1?
Well, Brian, as you mentioned, they start the year 2-2-1. Not a bad record at all. As an overall theme, Cornell is certainly looking to improve upon its execution of chances in the offensive end. A strong defense can take you really far, and there's no question in my mind, at least, that Cornell has a great back line. But the pressure to perform well on the defensive side becomes heavier when you know that you have a front line that's been struggling to put the ball in the back of the net, as evidenced by a tough matchup on Tuesday night against a really good team in Syracuse.
There have been some individual performers that have stood out as well for Cornell, as Connor Gopel was the Ivy League Co-Player of the Week and Eric Nuss the Ivy League Rookie of the Week. Jesse Sherman calls the games for the Big Red Sports Network. Jesse, appreciate the insight.
My pleasure, Brian.
That wraps up this week's edition of Around the Ancient Eight on the Ivy League Digital Network. Talk to you next Thursday.
This has been Around the Ancient Eight, highlighting headlines from the Ivy League. Check out new episodes premiering Thursdays on the Ivy League Digital Network.